Mamelodi Sundowns superstars have turned it up today against Sekhukhune at the Loftus Versfeld by beating them 3-1. Now this means that Mamelodi Sundowns are tied on first position with the Orlando Pirates, only second to them on a goal difference. Now Sundowns have been showing all the teams in the PSL how to win the league year in, year out. We saw that when they went to Stellenbosch, Ikram Reyners was the top goal scorer for Stellenbosch for the past 2 seasons, and he had proven that. We have seen that Usaleng has time and time again for the Orlando Pirates won their major cups, and the Mamelodi Sundowns in this past transfer window have gone out to sign them. Today, they've been the major difference for Mamelodi Sundowns, and it's a big credit to them. Now, going into the game, we saw that Mamelodi Sundowns started with a classical 4 at the back, 3 in the middle, 3 up front. But the major difference that I saw from the Mamelodi Sundowns today is that in the middle, they opted for a flat 3, where they had Alende, they had Mukwena, as well as Adams. Now, normally what Mamelodi Sundowns would do is that they would have an attacking midfielder, whether it be Usando and another attacking midfielder who is able to join the midfield. But fortunately enough for the Mamelodi Sundowns, because they've got the quality in the team, they were able to create chances. They were able to, in fact, control the game in the early stages of the game. And we saw that because of their dominance in the early stage of the game, their first goal came through what they've been doing the whole season, is that they've been, once they are able to do the right thing, where they pass the ball and move, where we saw that Alende, he done a combination play with Usales and then moved into space, and then he was able to pick the spot. Now, I don't care which defense you are. All that we ask from midfielders is that when midfielders combine, that is what we are able to get. We are able to get the goals that are combination play from Mamelodi Sundowns. And when Mamelodi Sundowns does that, they are the best team in the league. Now, going into halftime, we saw that after a goal, in Mamelodi Sundowns, they tried to control the game as much as possible, but they were not really penetrating Sekhukhune in their last third. Because as I've said, the type of midfielders that they played today were more midfielders were looking to pass the ball around, rather sideways and backwards, not really as much penetrating passes. Now, coming out of the halftime, I need to give you the credit to Eric Tinkler, whereby in the first half, he had rather looked to start most of his play through the midfield. In the second half, rather, he looked to go out wide, where we saw for the first time, probably one of the few times this season, where somebody has tried to take on Usela Mudau in Ulitlapa. Credit to the young man from Sekhukhune, because on a few times he was able to beat Usela Mudau. And before, if you look, before the goal came, is that Ulitlapa had taken him on a few times, and it was only a credit to what had been happening before that, when the goal came for Sekhukhune, where he was able to break through the middle, take the defenders on, and then put the ball in. And we know that how dangerous is Ukrobla. Anything in the air, Krobla is going to punish you. But also, what I need to give credit for Cardoso again in this game, I feel that it was a very, very tactical game. That before the goal of Sekhukhune, I feel that Cardoso, he picked it up that Sekhukhune were getting back into the game, and he opted, because he saw that his midfielders were not joining the front 3, and he introduced, if you look, they introduced Iki Reinas as well as Umshishi, so that he was able to penetrate Sekhukhune in the last third. Fortunately for Sekhukhune, they were the ones who were able to get a goal before that. But what I guess what that goal meant for Mamelodi Sundowns is now that they had to respond to Sekhukhune, who had already Cardoso had already responded to the question, but now he was further responding by putting a further 2 strikers, by bringing on Umutiba as well as Saleng. Now, what can we say? That is why I always credit Mamelodi Sundowns for signing big name players, because Saleng has not played for Mamelodi Sundowns at all this season. But his first game, he's brought on to the second half, he's brought on to do a job. All that we ask him to do is to eliminate the defender and get the ball in. And that is exactly what Saleng does. That is what a number 7 does, a right winger does. Saleng, all that it does, eliminates the defender and gets the ball in. And then, as I said, because of Iki Reinas, the quality that he has, Iki Reinas doesn't need a lot of chances to in the box, and he was able to bury the goal. At 2-1, Sekhukhune, I believe that Mamelodi Sundowns' tails were up, and they were also looking for a third goal, because Mamelodi Sundowns are aware that by them getting more goals, because right now it's only a 1-goal difference. So Mamelodi Sundowns, instead of sitting back and trying to defend that 1-goal lead, credit again to Mamelodi Sundowns, because they were still pushing forward because of the players that brought on. Ike Reynas, he was still fresh. Usaleng, he was still fresh. They were able to get a break, and from that break, credit to Ike Reynas. That is what we ask from equality from a striker when you get signed. All that you do, just put the ball in the back of the net. And that Ike Reynas, he doesn't really need a lot of chances. The guy comes on in the second half, and then from that, he breaks through the midfield by himself, because he's the one who gets the ball from the midfield. Fortunately, the ball falls for him, and then from outside the box, that is what you want from a striker. He doesn't need to make a lot of decisions, where he had Usaleng on his right, but he takes responsibility, and that is what you want from a team that wants to win the league. You need players who are going to take responsibility. Taking responsibility, that shot, he put it into the top corner. For the Mamelodi Sundowns, at that point, I believe that the game is done, and it's just a reflection of how far Mamelodi Sundowns have come this season. To my side, I just want to give credit to Mamelodi Sundowns in the way that they are playing. Credit that they are back to the way that they are supposed to play. What I mean is that they are sharing the ball more often. And now what I also like is that in the last, more especially in the second half, there was more energy. And that is why I believe they were able to get 2 more goals in the second half, because they added more energy. And I always say that in the last third, players need to have more energy. They need to be dynamic and more lethal. Now it's all tied in the Betway Premiership. This leads to a very interesting finish to the last games of the season. Please like the video, comment in the comment section, subscribe, and then I will catch you on the next one. Thank you.